Taking a break at a regular break room at Disney is one thing, but the entertainment break rooms, they tend to be a little different sometimes. One of the things that happened to me a bunch as a photopass photographer is I was out in all sorts of different locations shooting all sorts of different things, which meant I would take breaks at all sorts of different places depending upon what I was doing. If we were working with the characters, characters were part of the entertainment department. And so when we were working with characters, it actually opened up a whole different series of break rooms for us that we could use that normally we wouldn't be able to. The entertainment break rooms are generally restricted for use just by people in the entertainment department. So the music groups that you see performing, the shows, the people that are in them, the character performers, and various people like that that entertain you. Part of the reason they're separate is because entertainment has slightly different needs than most regular cast members do. For example, somebody who's putting on a show when it is 93 degrees outside and 100% humidity, and they're out there dancing around for 30 minutes, well, they work up quite a sweat. So entertainment break rooms will oftentimes have showers and better bathroom facilities, for example, than a regular break room will. They will have changing rooms so that people aren't having to wear their costumes for the show and various other things. There's closets and changing rooms and more places to relax. A regular break room will have, for example, tables and chairs that are attached to them, picnic table kinds of things, or something you might see at a restaurant. In an entertainment break room, you're just as liable to find couches, love seats, and much more comfortable seating. Instead of just a basic dining table, you may actually find a conference table where the performers can actually sit down and talk about their performance. It varies from place to place and break room to break room, but it is definitely a whole different feel than a regular break room. And as a photographer, we normally were not allowed in there unless we were working directly with somebody who was taking a break in that room. So for example, if we were shooting Aladdin and Jasmine or the Genie over in Morocco, well, they would use the same entertainment break room that at the time a group called Mo Rockin' would use. The belly dancers that would also perform in the restaurant there would also use the same break room. And so it was a large break facility that had several couches, a nice TV, a big conference table, a little kitchenette that was there along with a couple tables to sit at, had a few different changing rooms and costume rooms, and so it had a variety of facilities that was available for all of these people to be able to use. And if we were working with the characters that day, well, then we were able to go in and break with them, so that way we could talk with them about what was happening and what was going on. At least in the days when we basically stayed with one character all day. That eventually changed and we didn't get to use them quite as much. But it was a nice change of pace because they're obviously much more comfortable than the regular break rooms. But they also had a very different atmosphere. If you have never worked in entertainment at all, then you probably don't realize that when you walk into an entertainment break room, or if you go backstage of a theater, or if you're behind the scenes of a performance, they have a very different feeling about breaks and stuff than a lot of people. Partially because they're out there not just doing a regular job, but they're pouring themselves out, literally in sweat sometimes, in the middle of a show. For example, when I was doing the train robbery out at Silver Dollar City, our shows would be about 15 minutes long and we would put on 2 or 3 an hour. And we would typically pour everything out. So when we got into our break room, we were just like, we don't care, sprawl out. And if it was a hot day, well, depending upon what we were wearing, we may be pulling shirts open and stuff just to try to cool off a bit more. Well, you get into an entertainment break room at Disney, and they sometimes have fairly thick, heavy costumes. And so as soon as they're walking in the door where other people can't see, the costume pieces sometimes start flying because they want to get out and get cooled off. And if you're not used to something like that, it can be a bit awkward. Now, I've done enough plays and dramas and other things that so what? But it was always entertaining when you would be sitting there and you would see a new, say, character attendant come along with the character, and all of a sudden pieces of costume start flying and you would see this new person go, it's okay, you'll get used to it. Some people would actually have to train themselves to tune out a little bit while people were changing because they're trying to get comfortable in between shows. And characters, for example, would actually have a completely different outfit that they would wear instead of what they wore out on stage. And typically it would be like a large t-shirt and then maybe some black shorts or something so that they could be comfortable and relaxed in the break room. They may go into the changing room and change, but a lot of times, depending upon how busy the break room was, it may be as soon as they would get in the door. I had a few times with characters that the break rooms for them were just for that character. And man, as soon as they hit that door, goodness, I'm getting out of this thing because I'm hot and dying. As a photographer, the character attendants were there to help, but I would also take it upon myself. Okay, you need some help? Let me help you get this big old coat off. Let me help you get that piece off and this heavy thing off here. Because I understood those outfits are hot. And there'd be places they could take them and put them apart, and that way they could be able to relax a lot better for the time that they were there. Trust me, being a character performer is a lot of hard work and a lot of sweat. Literally. But it was something that you did not want the regular guests or the regular cast members necessarily to be exposed to. It was nice to be able to keep them separate. It did mean at times that as PhotoPass cast members, we took advantage a little bit. We would get to know our characters pretty well, and I still got some that I'm actually good friends with. So you would learn who was working where sometimes, and if you were working, okay, maybe I'm not scheduled to be with Donald, maybe I'm over in China, but I happen to know Donald today. And so if you knew who was working over there, sometimes you could take advantage and, hey, how's it going? You mind if I take lunch with you today? So that way you could get a little bit nicer break room and have a little bit more facility than the regular ones. The other nice thing is if you were going to be stationed with a character all day, if you brought your own lunch, which was usually a good idea because Disney didn't sell cheap food to cast members, it meant that you had a regular break room that you could take your lunch and you could drop it off at, and it was safe, unlike the regular cast break rooms that were open to anybody and everybody. A good example of this is underneath Epcot, there is a very small utilidor system. And in the days when Character Spot was there, we would actually take our breaks right down below Character Spot. Now, to get to it, we would actually go through a side door in Innoventions that would then lead us into kind of like this closet, old kitchen area. And on one side would be a stairway going down. You could then go through a door, and that was an old kitchen that wasn't used anymore. And we actually, as PhotoPass, we had some lockers put in there so we would have a place to put stuff. But for most of the character entertainers and everybody else, the break rooms are downstairs. So if you go downstairs and you make a right, there was a break room right there that was open for everybody. By that, I mean anybody and everybody, every cast member. And they'd have a couple refrigerators for people to put food in and some things like that, but there was no way I was going to leave my food there because there's too many other people coming in. I still remember the day I was sitting there and some guy starts yelling, one of the custodial crew, because somebody had eaten his lunch. They took his lunch and actually, it was gone. And as he's ranting and yelling, somebody else walked in and went, "Oh yeah, that steak, that was really good." Why do you take somebody else's lunch? But that could happen in the regular break room. It didn't in the entertainment break rooms, because they were restricted use. And so it was very nice if we knew who was working in some of those, we could take advantage and, hey, is it okay if I drop my lunch off in here where I know it's going to be safe? And hey, maybe I'll come see you when I get my break, and say hi to our friends too. It was very nice being able to take advantage of that way. It was a more relaxed atmosphere. It was a more social atmosphere because you knew the people, more comfortable and more private at the same time. So it was nice if you had access to them. I think it's part of the reason why some other cast members thought entertainment was kind of stuck up a little bit, because they had their own break rooms. But they needed them. They absolutely needed them. And it was wonderful to be able to take advantage of that connection with them and be able to have access to them sometimes as well. So there's a little look at the entertainment side of things at Disney and the break facilities and how they're different than the others. Did you find this interesting? I'd love to know. Did you have other questions or something else that might relate? Or maybe you had experience at an entertainment style break room or changing area. I'd love to hear it. Please share it in the comments below. Don't forget to hit like, and share the video. If you haven't subscribed, don't just hit that subscribe button, hit the bell notification so that way you know when I've got new videos, because YouTube's dumb otherwise. So hit the bell. Thank you as well to my patrons for their support. My patrons are the ones that make the high quality of my videos possible, the equipment, the travel, and all of that. None of it would happen without my patrons. So if you want to see better quality, and if you want to see me go to more locations or do more collabs, Patreon is the place to help make it happen. Plus, you get early previews of videos and more access to me and all sorts of other stuff. So check it out. There's a link in the description, as well as links to my fan pages, merchandise, and all sorts of other stuff there. Thank you so incredibly much for watching, and God bless. The entertainment break rooms are generally as well as now. Additionally, I believe the ballerinas, not ballerinas. Oh my goodness. We would actually go and take our breaks right below where characters. It didn't in the employee, or it was a more relaxed birthday If you'd like to know about my merchandise, fan pages, and more, be sure to check the description below. If you'd like to know whenever I've got a new video posted, well, make sure you hit that button right up there and subscribe. If you'd like to watch another one of my videos, I've got a great one for you right here. And if you'd like to be like these wonderful people here and support me financially on Patreon, well, make sure you check the link right there. There's even some extra perks for them. Thank you so much, and God bless.